All right. Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome to a Minecraft Musings, the new era, Monday morning edition. We're back in the realm. I've been working on this gigantic monument type structure, which I think I'm going to keep it kind of like open underneath. As you can see, there's like a whole hidden world underneath here. Debating on like making it come all the way down and then just having like doorways. Like it'll cover all of this, but then it would have to have like doorways for all these farmers. I mean, and that's something I realized after I started making it is if I continue the downward 45-degree angle of it, it's going to completely cover this, probably intersect right here. Anyways, so, but no, I've been thinking a lot more about this whole online voting thing, and I think we're close. I think we're close. And I know I talk about this a lot, and I know it's kind of like almost obsessive, but the thing is if we can get every single human being on Earth a voice, a vote, many good things would happen. So it's not just about like your vote actually having weight. It's about being seen and being heard, being part of a collective that you are part of the decision making process that empowers people for a couple of reasons. Not only does it empower people to feel better about the outcome of things, like, oh, okay, well, at least, they counted my voice, or at least, my say meant something. Because, again, South Park, they have a good episode for everything. The Vote or Die episode with, ironically, Diddy, which, the only thing I don't like about Diddy is how forceful he was, the blackmailing part. If he was just out there supplying party supplies and helping encourage people to, get loose, have fun, and generally add to the population, that's not really the shame thing that, the whole trafficking thing. Well, and of course, that's quite the understatement. The fact that he did blackmail people and force people into those situations is definitely evil, and he does need to pay for that. But at the same time, I'm telling you, if cannabis was just legal this whole time and alcohol wasn't as glorified, we would have a fraction of the people that would be upset. Actually, let's go ahead and let's get some enchantments. I need some efficiency. Let's go ahead and try to do that in this episode. But anyways, no, it's the consent. It's the consenting nature of being seen and heard in a positive way that result in such actions like because men and women and everyone in between, they still like having fun and doing that stuff. It's just alcohol. When it's caused by the alcohol, it's not as fun, and then it's embarrassing, and it's a very slippery slope. That as soon as someone feels embarrassed about doing something like that, they're horrified. They're stressed. They're anxious about it. It becomes a mentally affecting or a mentally impacting horrible thing. When all it needed to be was a bunch of consensual hippy dippy things. Like, the 70s was peace, love, and open love, and Austin Powers days. And even in the Austin Powers movie, and I love those movies too because he talks about consent. Like he's got this lady that he's really trying to get with, and she's drunk, she's ready, she wants him, and he even turns to the camera. He's like, but it wouldn't be, or he doesn't even turn to the camera at that point. Sorry, he's just like, but it wouldn't be right. And we're talking about this sex symbol that just like shags like people left and right. And that's why like people can't believe, wow, how did you do this back in the day? Well, because it was more consensual. Because of hippy dippy substances and not alcohol, more people wanted to do free love and all that. And it was more of like oh, okay, this is cool. Also, we need, hmm, I think we need a couple of things. We need more beds, more villagers, because I don't believe we actually have any villagers per se. Now, if I can find this type of villager, but I think that one already, because I think this one doesn't have, come on, where are you even going? Oh, nope, nope, this one. Well, and whatever. So we'll get some beds. We need some clippers. We need some more villagers. We really need some more houses. But all I'm trying to do is get like an enchantment to have more efficiency. But anyways, so back to the online voting thing. I think we're getting closer. It can't be like a full, complete fourth branch of government. Um, let's see. Let's just get a bunch of that. I did import some jungle trees, so we have a lot of that. And we're gonna need beds. Let's see. I have clippers in here. Yes. Because I have a bunch of sheep. And actually, let's probably let's increase the sheep population too. So, and I'm also still balancing. Yeah, this is my son's. He's got the boom boy, which I need to make that better too. It needs sharpness. Um, could use flame maybe. But anyways. Oh, geez. Oh, okay. Well, first off, they need grass. Okay, now that's what we're going to do for this episode. We're going to make this better for them. So first, let's get all the wool, and then let's go ahead and we're going to drop the floor down a little bit, at least like 2 units, and then if we drop it 2, we can at least have this grassy area. Yeah, I didn't make these all that great. Usually I try to make them nice and big and spacious and give them grass. Like, look at them. They look so feeble. Like, they need to... I know this is just a game, but this is mistreating animals and stuff. And that's another reason why we just need a bunch of farms. We need a bunch of hippie farms. And that's like... So I'm working on 2 projects right now, almost equally important. The hippie farm and online voting. Because I think one would beget the other. If more hippie farms were normalized, and by hippie farm, I mean like more people interested in farming, growing more for the sake of just growing and providing free food, free nourishment for people, and then free cannabis and free mushrooms too. Like that's also part of it. Let's see, we need some sticks so for some ladders. Let's just do. I really only need like, well, what's that? Oh yeah, is that a painting? Okay. We need this. We need dirt. We need to go get a bunch of dirt, so we need to shave it off from somewhere else. So, but anyways, and farms in general, just food production should go back to the people. Everybody, instead of a yard, and you see these fun posts, it's like, oh, that would be nice. Like, if everybody just converted their, in fact, I think this turns to, yeah, we don't really need pause oil, but whatever. This is just where I harvest a bunch of wood. But basically, if everybody turned part of their yard or all of their yard into a garden, they would have food, not enough to live off of. And that's why most more people don't do it. It's because farming is hard. And I had a garden growing up, and we never made enough food to where we could just live off our garden. We grew carrots, peas, squash, pumpkins. Sometimes not a lot of pumpkins. More is just squash, zucchini. That's what another one. And even radishes. And we grew enough to be like, okay, during harvest season, we would have some vegetables, and so it was kind of fun. And but if we had greenhouses or year-round food production, we could actually supplement our food with things that we grew naturally in our own garden. And same thing, like if we had greenhouses and more of a controlled environment, it would be easier to actually maintain and have. Because as it was like the back half of, or the back third of our backyard, we turned into a garden. We had a compost heap in the corner that we'd throw all the weeds that we'd pull. And it gave me something to do, like fidgety, like go weed the garden, or a punishment or a reward, like, hey, if you weed the garden, you get, money or whatever. Whoops, sorry. Or just whatever. I mean, okay, now, okay. So this will at least provide a space. Whoops. And I think I missed one here. Come on. There you go. All right, now eventually that'll turn to grass, and then we'll do that. Maybe drop the whole thing down a layer anyway, because it's kind of cramped. And then as more grass grows and they start eating more grass, they'll be happier. They'll be more aplenty with their wool. Anyways, so yeah, just like real life, you got to take care of animals if you're gonna have them. And I made the choice not to have animals. Like I don't even want a cat, a dog. It's more things to take care of. I got 2 kids, and that's enough. But no, I say that, but eventually I think I do want to get a cat. I just need to get to a place where it's more permanent and yeah. That's why I like the idea of the townhomes that Fading West can build, because and that a hippie farm, we're really close to it in BV. Like land costs, there's a huge chunk of several acres. I think like over 100 acres for like $6,000 or $7,000. Now I know a lot of that land, it'd be really expensive to turn it into developed land where you could actually put a house like that. But okay, so you're saving a ton of money on the actual land itself, and so invest some of the other money, like 20, 30,000 or whatever it takes, into making the land livable. It's like it's definitely possible. And I have people that want to do it. I have one person that would be his career, his life, is maintaining the farm, maintaining residents, like being a manager of sorts. And that's fine. That's enough for one person to do. And really, the whole goal is as people alleviate the pinch points that affect energy bills, or just anywhere that they spend the money. Like, I mean, because a lot of it is actually entertainment now. I mean, we went from spending like $100 a month, or like a pretty large amount every month for, come on, go, okay, um, on cable TV, and now it's like several streaming services. Well, okay, that's kind of good, but now you're back to spending about $100 a month on just TV entertainment, and then food. Food is probably one of the most ridiculous ones. We spend so much on groceries, and especially with kids. Like, and I can vouch for that. Like, I try to find foods that my kids like. Try to cook new things, try to prepare new things. When all it turns out to be is they like the tried and true, what tastes good, like what's normal. And honestly, I don't see much problem with that. Because I remember back when I was like in high school and stuff, I remember my parents would try to make all these like fancy things and all these things, and well, all I ended up eating was like a lot of the same stuff, especially when I was in sports, like football and burning up a bunch of energy. I really like to have like a certain. Why is everybody over there? Here, let's get you over here. Okay. Okay, let's keep you over here. In fact, let's put some more light here. And yeah, let's go ahead and make a bunch more sheep. Okay, now. Yeah, and then there's the big chicken farm right next to us. Okay, and somehow we need grass to be introduced down here. I think that, because that's grass block. Let's go get some more dirt. So, anyways, and then the online voting thing. I think that just really needs to happen because then everybody would at least feel like they were seen and heard, so they would be less angry when the government does things. Because then it'd be like, oh, wait, no, we did vote on this. And it's not so much like, because as it is, we're voting on representatives that may or may not work in our interests. Like, Chuck Schumer is probably one of the best examples of that. I saw a video clip of him saying, like, we'll make it look like we're trying or something like that, and he's trying to like smooth over someone else, but by totally betraying and throwing voters under the bus, like, oh, we'll just pretend we're doing to it, and then it's like, I don't know the context of that, but if he says that about one thing, he'll say it about other things. It's like if that's a tactic in his governmental policy, and I'm talking specifically about cannabis, marijuana, like all of that, safe banking, all these different things that are part of that whole spiel. And I feel like that's part of why we haven't had it forever. And now both sides want to legalize cannabis. Both sides have agreed and just resigned to like, okay, you know what? We can't keep lying about this forever. And what it is, it's the liquor industry. Any alcohol is going to be greatly affected by cannabis being legalized because guess what? People will not want to drink alcohol if cannabis is an option. A lot of people. In fact, most intellectual people, I mean, it was wine and everything, like, oh, let's have a good pairing of some good wine or something. When it's like, no. Oh, and I did lose that one bit of grass block. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna need to somehow get a piece of grass down here. These poor sheep, they're starving. And if you just keep feeding them wheat, they're just gonna keep reproducing. So let's see, I do have Silk Touch Does this work? Yes, okay. Now I also gotta be careful because as soon as I place this down, there. Okay. So it'll slowly spread, but if the sheep eat it too fast, that's actually what it should do. Okay, so the little ones can go back there and eat it. Hmm. Let's get everybody over here. Leave that spot alone. Oh, and that's grass too, so that's gonna slowly spread. All right, we'll go ahead and make a bunch more sheep. So, yeah. I don't know. The problem with online voting also, and I can see why it isn't a thing yet, is because people, while they should have a voice, they should also be educated to where their voices actually make sense and logical. And it's kind of a toss-up too, because the problems that affect poorer people that would benefit from having all of their voice in there don't affect everybody. So it kind of seems like, oh, they're just taking it to be lazy when it's like, okay, no, hold on. Like, this is their reality. This is how expensive it is. This is how they can or cannot afford certain things. So, yeah. And so then, like, the problem solving wouldn't be so one sided to where it's like, okay, let's just give them enough to shut them up. Like Chuck Schumer. Like, oh, it still just pisses me off so bad because, like, he's been campaigning for we need legal cannabis. Like it's past time. Like this is ridiculous. But then like you hear him turn around and say something like that, like it just totally blows credibility. Like I mean, for all I know, yeah, it probably wasn't about cannabis, but I don't know what it was about. And now like that casts doubt on literally everything that he's voting on. Is like, is he just like playing it up to be like, oh yeah, we're trying so hard and they're so mean and all this, and when in reality, nah, they're just letting that one die or whatever. And why is there such disagreement? Like, if it should benefit the whole country, and that's what it is, because what it turns out to be is it's only benefiting a few people, and they're trying to still preserve so many limited resources for so many people, to where, yeah, it's, yeah. There's too many sheep now. So, but either way, it's going to get to the point where people just don't care. I mean, like everybody should be represented. Like it doesn't matter, and the reason that is because back in the day, it did require wealthy families to be able to send their kids off to get a good education. And I'm specifically thinking England, like anybody who got a good British education and went off to England and speaks with a British accent. I'm thinking about this YouTuber that I think he's from Dubai or something, but like he looks kind of Middle Eastern, kind of not British, like your traditional pasty white British person, but he speaks so fancy and all this, and he's got all these cell phones and cell phone cases, and he's just be able to afford all this stuff. And then he does these things, and wow. And it doesn't look like he's struggled a day. Like, he doesn't look like he has working hands. Like, he's very thin, and, he would be pale and pasty if his skin pigmentation wouldn't, kind of like one of those things. And really not trying to be racist, but being very judgmental is like, okay, this is what I'm seeing. There's this guy who makes these YouTube videos, and they are entertaining YouTube videos, but it's just him laughing and playing and like, look how funny this phone case is. Oh my gosh, how could somebody? And there's the people out there like, oh shoot, I don't have a place to live. Like, how are my kids gonna eat? Like, oh, but this fancy guy's got talking about cell phone cases. He's just so out of touch with like what's going on in the world, and that's the thing. It's like everybody that has a voice is out of touch with what's going on the like the lowest levels, the poorest forms of existence. And it all goes back to alcohol, not even drugs. Like that's the thing that people want you to think. And yes, drugs are addicting, I'm not saying that they're not, but if everybody had the choice of like, okay, if alcohol wasn't so prevalent, like if alcohol was expensive and taxed like cigarettes or drugs, or like harder to get like illegal status, and people would be a lot less willing to do it. And now, and cannabis is becoming super cheap. Everybody that I know that is able to just use cannabis just uses cannabis, like doesn't do any of the crazy stuff. And it quite, in fact, I've talked to a lot of people that have done like meth and heroin and like ended up doing these really addictive drugs, and they all say the same thing. It started with a drink or two. It started with a drink or two. That's what people need to pay attention to. Is let's go ahead and continue to try to do this because I mean we're not really using the underground over here anyway. We can make this a nice big lavished place for the sheep. More light, more torches, more grass. Really worried about the grass though because they need to be eating, and not just wheat like the way that their mechanics were. Oh, whoa. Okay, so there's the limit. Anyways, and then political elections. So ridiculous. Oh, I did get my blue book for the Colorado stuff that we're voting on. Because Colorado does empower their people. Like, there's so many people here that are like of mixed levels of success and understanding and knowledge and stuff. Or it's like it's beautiful because, yeah. And I have a connection in Aurora. I have a cop friend in Aurora too, but I kind of check with and stuff and like kind of get a pulse. Like, is this too crazy or is this okay? Or like, and so far he loves all my stuff. Like, he was in on it when I was trying to paint that Crip house and trying to get those three people their jobs back when they made that they made the headlock joke, kind of a big slap in the face to all black people because it was Black Lives Matter. And again, it shouldn't get to a point where we're worried about skin color or actually like demographics. Like for a while there, I was trying to, make this popular. Like, let's just call people really dark skinned, really light skinned. Like, why do we have to make it black, white, red, yellow, whatever? Like, let's just make it really dark, really light, Asian features. Like, just broad strokes it. I mean, because I'm such a mutt. I'm German, Irish, probably English, British, mixed with like everything, and I don't care. My identity doesn't revolve around who I came from. Like my identity now is like, okay, what am I doing with my life now? Well, I'm a computer scientist that more like an IT tech technician that is interested in philanthropy projects and peace projects, which just basically describes almost every tech person. Like, because you see the power of what a computer can do. It can calculate all these massive calculations in a fraction of a second. It can organize, hundreds, if not thousands of pieces of data, people's identities, and like in the way that it is proper to identify them, their social security number, their DNA, like, in case they commit a crime or in case they do something good. Like, shouldn't always be punishing, but at the same time, and the punishments too, they got to actually make sense. And I think we're figuring that out. It's like, because before we just all we had was the capacity to like, oh, we'll just throw them in jail, like get them off the streets for a while. Okay, well, they're going to come back onto the streets. Like, if you don't actually fix the problem, you just winding up the clock, and then they're going to come out with no skills, no money, no resources, no family support. And then first thing they're going to do, they're going to take shortcuts. So it's like, okay, why is that grass not spreading? I wonder if, I mean, a little worried like the sheep are just going to start eating it up, but let's see. I don't have a lot of this. All right, let's get some fodder for the bone meal. So, anyways, but as far as the actual technology goes, we have the ability to do online voting today, because everybody has a cell phone, just like everybody has government ID, or they don't. And I think that's why people are hesitant, because once we start really examining government ID and who's who, we're going to find that a lot of people are here either illegally or they've expired or something, and they're just hanging out here like, well, I don't want to get deported because that's very similar to being thrown in prison. It's like, okay, you're going to be uprooted and put somewhere where you don't have a lot of money or resources. You're going to have to struggle, and nobody like voluntarily wants to struggle unless you go into the military. But that's also just not complete voluntary struggling. It's struggling with the understanding that I'm going to do this struggling and then I'm going to have these benefits later. The GI benefits, going to be able to afford a house better, But that's a gamble because you might also get some trauma in there. Like if you kill somebody, chances are you're going to need some therapy and your life might be severely altered or any number of things. So is it worth it? Like there's still a cost to that. And even if you don't kill anybody, you got to see, you get more of an inside view of how we are killing other people. And so, yeah, it's messed up. Same with law enforcement and corrections. You get an inside view of how, let's see, maybe we need more light. Maybe that's it. And let's see if I can. Hmm. It didn't really spread the grass, so. Anyways, we have some wool, we have some of that. Let's get some beds. It's actually about time for me to start getting ready for work, but I just wanted to jump on here and say that, oh, so the thing is with online voting, the Republicans want it because they want to know that only citizens are voting in the elections. So the people that have been more amenable to the idea of online voting have been Republicans. Now, the Democrats are a little worried about it because they're worried about if people get tricked or swayed into. Oh, wait, that's why I needed all that wood. I just went and dumped it in. Oh wow, that's an interesting music. I haven't heard this song before. It's like some Christmassy bells. So, anyways, communication. I think if we were just communicating how to efficiently use all of our resources and turn a lot of people into farmers, for their communities and then just make that more of a standardized thing. Like, hey, let's get everybody to at least grow like three to five house plants in their house, and one or two of those plants need to be edible, or you need to grow your own spices or something like that. And then once people get more used to that, then we increase it, we ratchet it up. Like, okay, now let's do. Also, I don't really have room for this, so we're gonna start converting these into doubles. And eventually I'll build a nice big house. Like, look at this one. This one looks. Oh, it's already a double. Okay. This one has an upstairs. Are there beds upstairs? And can they even get upstairs, if that's a thing? Why is there that? I feel like that's already cramped. Alright, you know what? We're gonna have some campers. Okay. And then we need food. Looks like they already got some food. Oh, yep. We're gonna get some little villagers. Feed you. Feed you. Okay. So, and at the back of a lot of Democrats' minds is the movie Idiocracy, where if we keep letting macho man wrestlers become presidents, like, or people that are just more about like money and stupid things, and science is stupid and news is fake, and basically denouncing all these other things that people are spending their lives doing. Like they're not out there trying to lie and trick you. Like that's the science of it. Like, oh, hey, we need to do this, or pollution is bad, and understanding the extent of it too. So I think we've gone so far in the other direction that I get it. There are some scams out there and people saying that we need all this alternative energy. Well, we do, but that could also be just like nuclear reactors, and that's what Bill Gates and Warren Buffett are building. So, anyways, I need to get ready for work. Ta-ta, everybody. Hope you have a great day. Take care of each other and think about it. Is it logic? Does it make sense? Is it worth it? Basically, everything you do in life. I mean, we're going to start finding out that there's a lot of things that we can just kind of slowly let go away. And through clear communication and online voting and having a voice and being seen and heard to an extent is going to go far. Like, we will fix it. So, but the interesting thing and why I wanted to jump on this morning is because now I've been talking about it with people on the Pope's thing. So we're getting the whole Catholic community, not all of it, but like, I mean, we're putting that idea out there that like, wait a minute, why don't the people decide? Be like, hey, we're all, if we're going to ascribe to the Christian thing, like we're all God's children. Same with, Islam, we're all God's children. Like, then we're all worth an equal voice in deciding what happens to us. And it's only fair. And that's like the foundation of this country is if you're a human, you get a voice. Well, if you're a wealthy white male landowner was how we originally started, but we said all people are created equal. So right there, everybody should have an equal say in what's going on and what affects them. So we should also have equal understanding of what is really going on and how does this really affect us. Oh, look, we already have quite a few new. That was quick. All right, so ta-ta for now. I will see you in the next one.